Fam, what's up? Welcome back to the CEO Pulse podcast, where you get the real, the raw, and the mind of entrepreneurship. We are sitting down with none other than Mr. Dean Rogers. All right, check this out. Dean played for the San Diego Chargers back in 2011, 2012. So he went from the NFL to becoming a very, very successful real estate investor. Now he holds a portfolio of over 8 figures. So I'm really excited to tap into your story, brother. It's nothing short of amazing, right? It's a feat to make it into a place like that where competition is at the tip of the sword, right? And then take all that skill set or all that tenacity and apply it into a whole new industry, a brand new career, a couple of years after that. So Dean, man, thank you so much for making the space and stopping by on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man. You couldn't have said that better. I think most people that make it as entrepreneurs, they got to have that tenacity. They got to have that competitive side of them to make it. And so I can't say enough about how making it to the NFL and what I had to do to make it there and how it applied to my real life and my new career, my new business. Right. So I love that.
So you spent a couple of years with the San Diego Chargers, and I'm thinking, I mean, my brain just automatically defaults right to the thought process and how you're wired, at a mental level to get to a place like that where competition. I mean, that's the bread and butter of the business, right? You got to have that grit, like we were talking about. But how do you go from being in a space where, sports and killing it in this area that people just, dream about, and then making a transition like that into real estate and building a portfolio that's so, it's massive right now. And I mean, you're thriving in it. So.
Yeah. So transition was interesting because, so a little bit back on the backstory, I was playing great, feeling great, but playing for the Chargers, Norv Turner, was telling me I was going to have a long career. But the problem was the light bulb that went off for me. He moved me from tight end to fullback. Okay. And so I went from playing tight end, loved and was playing great there, to now fullback. And as you can imagine, if you know football, you're on a running play now. Your whole purpose is to try to kill the other person who's also trying to kill you. And it's a head-on collision. It is the biggest collision on the entire field, because I'm not playing tight end, running, doing a run play, blocking a guy 1 or 2 yards away. I'm running 10 to 15 yards straight, full speed to try to kill that other guy. And a lot of times you're running through the lineman and the gap, is this narrow. So you're leading with your head. And as you can only imagine, the collision was so massive. Even though I was playing great, I knew it was killing me. And if I kept doing it, I was going to be a vegetable or dead early. So it scared the hell out of me. And even though I had all this promise, all this potential in front of me, a 7-figure contract, all these things that I had dreamt of my entire life in the palm of my hands, I knew that if I kept doing this, it was going to ruin me. And Junior Seau killed himself that year. ESPN was talking about concussions for the first time. It was all these eye-opening things happening at the same time to know, I wasn't in the position to say, hey, Antonio Gates, that's my position, scoot over. And I didn't want to go down the journey of, well, let me just go to another team and play tight end there because that will be more healthy for me. I just knew in my heart, as much as I love this game, and trust me, the lifestyle is pretty freaking cool. I just knew that I had to hang up the cleats. I had to move on. So that's been the toughest decision I've ever made in life right now, is just to put my head down and just move on to the next thing and not look back and not have regret, which is hard because I'll still have dreams where I wake up and I'm still playing and I'm waking up with my heart pounding and I'm super excited. But then I'm like, oh, damn,
you're back out there in the field. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a hard decision, but Rafael, I know that it was the best decision for me, because I even have buddies who played with me and they'll tell me, man, I wish I would have got started in my career sooner. Because there's always life after football, right? Unless you were Phil Rivers, who was 3 lockers away from me, saying, "Hey, Dino, how's it going, Mr. Country Boy?" But he's making $100 million. Like he doesn't have to have life after football, but the average player does. And so I knew I needed to get started now. And for my health, that was the best decision for me.
Man, it's well, I mean, that's a very, very interesting story, and it goes to show the long-term play, right? The long-term thought process that you have there going on. I mean, you're thinking ahead, even though you're thriving in that space, and it's a space that you've, at this point, you had to have been looking forward to that. I mean, your entire life, right? And then you get this shot, you get this opportunity. One thing that's really just kind of calling out to me, attention-wise, is a lot of people jump into entrepreneurship because it's a matter of survival, right? It's a matter of, I have nothing else. I'm going to jump into this and see what I can do. I mean, at least, like, for example, that was my case, right? I wanted to improve and move into this better space. But when you're living that dream life, I've seen ballers. There's
a lot of real stuff that happens from that show. I tell you what.
When you're living that dream life, right, and you're in that space where you have the opportunity, it's in the palm of your hand, and it's real and tangible. I think it takes more guts, man, to jump into something different. Not necessarily, even if it's, a cross, I mean, not going up or going down or anything, but jump into something different and step outside of that world, because you're seeing the future come at you, man. So big kudos on that. It takes balls to make a switch when you're in the prime, when you're in that,
Yeah, it was hard, man, because it's funny you say that. I'd say my experience was the perfect combination of Ballers and Hard Knocks, both HBO shows, where you've got like the Hollywood lifestyle, you've got like red carpet events, you got women throwing themselves at players, like just the craziest stuff that you could only like see in a movie actually happen in real life. To where like I had to do like second takes all the time. Like, did that really just happen? Like, this is crazy
right now.
Yeah. And then like the Hard Knock side, where it's like, dude, this is alpha male territory, like only alpha males only. And everybody's like a lion who's trying to get the kill and wanting to be at the top of that mountain. And like, it's intense every single second. Everything is competitive. Everything is cutthroat. And it's like the most hardcore business environment you've ever been in. And like, it's no joke. So it's the combination of both those worlds. So everything is like a 10 out of 10 intensity, and was pretty wild, was pretty dang crazy.
Man, it makes sense too, because, to make it or to thrive in a space like ours, I mean, and I'm talking about real estate now, it's you got to have that competitive edge, right? It's full of sharks out there.
Yeah.
And that longevity really comes with the attitude. You got to have that mental fortitude and that attitude to back, your actions. And obviously, I mean, you can't get to a place like the NFL if you're not action driven. So that's huge. Now, fast forward, a few years, and then you start, I mean, you pretty much started fresh. We were talking right before we clicked record that you started fresh, brand new career. You didn't have a background on real estate, right? And then just went all into it. Tell me how that played out for you at the beginning.
Yeah. So for me, I was fortunate to have a good buddy I played college football with reach out to me right away. And he's like, "Hey, Dean, I got a great opportunity for you in the Bay Area. I just started working for this tech company. I'm really well connected. Like, I could basically get you in the door." So for me, thinking life after football, like what I want to build a career, corporate job, like this sounds perfect. Right. And so just took action right away, jumped right in, moved from San Diego to San Francisco, the Bay Area, and got started working, man. And I couldn't believe how easy it was. Like, the level of effort was so minimal compared to the NFL.
What you were used to. Yeah.
I just sit in a desk, I'd slap around this keyboard. Like, this is insanely easy. But mind you, I just went from a 7-figure contract to a $65,000 salary in San Francisco, one of the most expensive places, up there with New York. So money got tight really quick. And so I'm like, you know what? I got this. I'm going to bust my ass. I'm going to show them what I got. I got skills from an effort standpoint,
Yeah.
and the other skills will develop with time, right? So I put in the effort, put in the skills. I wasn't in sales, so maybe that would have changed the trajectory, but I was busting my butt. And they're like, at the end of the year, wow, you did so great. You got so much effort, so much promise. We're going to give you a big salary increase of $2,000. You got 67,000 now. And I was
Yay.
like, whoa, this is not going to work out, dude. This is not going to get me anywhere fast. So I remember just going back to my 424 square foot studio where my wife and I lived, and just thinking to myself, like, what else can I do to like move the needle? And I knew, like, growing up and my parents were entrepreneurs, like I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. Actually, I wanted to just ball out in football and be able to, provide for my family. But now after football, life after football, I thought I want like a corporate job where I'm just earning a high income and I don't have the risk of being an entrepreneur. I've seen the ups and downs. And so I'll just do that. But that moment was like, just set me on fire. It pissed me off, actually. So I was like, dude, I'm getting after this. I'm going to take control of my life. So I got on Google and I was thinking, what should I search for? Like, what business can I start that I don't have to go to school for, and I can just like get started on my own? I remember late night Dean Graciosi infomercials, and being up as a teenager, like on the edge of my seat, wanting to buy it, even though I didn't have a credit card. Like, I wanted to call the number and buy because it seemed like the vehicle that could help me get to my dream life. And so I just did a little Google search, how to get started in real estate, and found Sean Terry's Flip to Freedom podcast. And remember listening to his first episode. He's just, quirky guy who's really excited and passionate, and, was talking about his faith and yeah. And I was like, you know what? I like this guy. This guy is amazing. And he's got stories about how, average Joe plumber went from a $30,000 salary to making multiple six figures and all these things. I'm like, wow, if this guy can do it, I can do it too. Like, there's no reason. So just from the first time I Googled how to get started in real estate and found Sean Terry's free podcast, I became obsessed and just would listen to it every second of the day I could in between work. And from the first day I did my search to my first deal was 3 months. And it was just from that one podcast, listening to Sean Terry. And funny enough, I actually co-wholesaled that first deal with Sean Terry, because I was actually doing everything he was saying so exact. I was marketing in his market and found a deal there. So that was that aha moment, like, holy crap, if I can do this, someone who had no experience prior,
concept,
I can repeat this and do it again and again. So that was the moment for me that just like set me off.
It's incredible, right? You never know what the catalyst is going to be. And it's funny because I can relate to your story very, very well. I had another business, a transportation business, and I jumped into real estate. I started doing fix and flips first before I started wholesaling. But when I tapped into wholesaling, I started with his podcasts too. So I think I did 2 or 3 deals, wholesale, just listening to his content. And then I mean, just kind of the stars aligned, and I ended up working acquisitions with him after I sold my other company. I remember sitting down and telling my wife, hey, listen, if I'm going to go back to work for a company that's not mine, and I've been I've been on my own, an entrepreneur for like 10 years at that point.
Wow.
But if I'm going to go back to work to something, a company that's not mine, it's got to be somewhere where I'm challenged, somewhere where I'm learning, somebody who I respect. And I mean, Sean just checked everything
off.
Checked
all the boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, I went in there. So it was an amazing 3 years of cutting my teeth in there. But yeah, man, it's the catalyst, right? The catalyst that's gonna just help you, get wings on the way down after you take that leap. Taking the leap is one of the hardest things.
That's it.
And sometimes it requires us to get pissed off at ourselves. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I holding out on potential? Why am I, and you never know when that conversation is going to hit you. I think, man, proof of concept comes and it's game over, dude. From that point forward, it's like you're broken. There's no way you can go back to a 9 to 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Now, and you started building your portfolio. So you go all into real estate wholesale, and did you start building your portfolio at the same time, or how did you play that out?
Yeah. So here's what my journey looked like. Okay. So year one, I do my first deal, co-wholesaler with Sean, and then I did a couple more with him as well. Okay. So next couple deals, same thing, found them the same way in his market, co-wholesale with him, made some more money to basically put right back into marketing. So then I started doing direct mail, getting some more deals back in my local market where I grew up, Central California, while I'm living in San Francisco. And started, I probably did 8 to 10 deals my first year, right? And so from there, I was wholesaling deals to my now business partner. And he said, "Hey, you're really good at finding deals. Like, do you want to do flips together?" So, well, yeah, that sounds, I just joined Fortune Builders. I was like wanting to take it to the next level and start flipping houses. This is perfect timing. This is great. The stars are aligning. He said, "Hey, the market's kind of slowing down in Central California." And it's funny talking about it now. He's, said after the fact, like everything he touched was turning to gold, and couldn't mess up. So he's like, do you want to flip houses in Arizona where you've been doing some deals? You have some contacts out there, right? Yeah, let's go do it. So we rush in, we buy like 6 houses in the first month. And the short version of the story is 4 houses we make money. The first 2 we bought, we ended up losing $100,000. And it was all the rookie mistakes. My partner kind of like let me take the reins and run it. And I just rushed into doing the deals because I trusted the realtor, what they thought the values were. We met in person, the contractor, but we didn't check his references. All the bad things happened. The wrong values because there weren't apples to apples to the comps. The contractor was a crook. He, did horrible work. We had to redo 100% of it, like that kind of stuff. Wow. To where it's just really painful for doing your first flips and losing that kind of money. And for me, that was like a big setback, right? I'm already starting, my money's already getting really tight. I just started to make some, I'm reinvesting it. And now I'm taking a really big step back, and it all could have been avoided, right? All could have been avoided, but it was a lesson I guess I had to learn and had to face the decision. Like, who am I? Am I a quitter, right? Does this just not work for me? Am I not an entrepreneur? Does real estate not work for me? Or am I the frickin' fighter that I know I am, and I'm going to get back out there and go kick some more ass? So that's what I did.
Well, that's where the you versus you conversation kicks in, right? And what kind of obviously you weren't going to settle for just an ordinary life and
couldn't do it.
Be happy and content at that point. You already have proof of concept. Big achievements in the past. Now it's a matter of leveling up. One of the things that I think a lot of us, as entrepreneurs, especially when we're bootstrapping stuff, it's also my background. It's the idea that it's going to be a smooth climb, right? Like, okay, cool. Maybe one step at a time, some steps here and there and whatnot, but it's going to be, linear. It's not, especially when you're transitioning or leveling up, right? You're tapping into, I don't know, something even a little bigger. Dude, just think about a basic, marketing campaign. How did you feel the first time you had to drop a marketing campaign? And it's like, you're telling me that I got to drop $3,000, $4,000 on a marketing campaign to see if somebody calls me back?
Right.
See if I can get a hold of anybody out there. Like, that's nerve-wracking. You know what I mean? Especially when you're strapped at the beginning. But it's the wind tunnel. It's the wind tunnel between the transitions, right? It's what requires that leveling up, and why a lot of people don't do it. It's easier said than done.
100%.
But it's 1,000% worth it, I think. So tell me about. I'm curious, right? As far as the competitive mindset that it takes. Obviously, you were pre real estate investments. You were wired that way. Somehow, some way, you either adopted it, at school. I don't know if it's a trait that you've had since childhood, but that competitive edge, that willingness to not give up. How did you mitigate the tough spots Like, how did you go through the, I mean, we all have bad days, right? And sometimes it's just bad seasons. But how, I don't, from a mental standpoint, how did you mitigate that shift, right? Going from this, great place to taking a risk on yourself and then thriving through it.
Yeah. I think it goes back to just the sports days of the biggest lessons and value I got out of sports. And my dad especially helped reinforce this as a kid was like, if you commit to something, you're committed to it, right? There's no half-ass, like, hey, you don't feel good today, you don't show up to practice. Like, your ass is showing up. And if you want to make it at a high level, you're not going to North Turner and saying, hey, I got a boo-boo on my leg today, I'm not practicing. Or, hey, I got a cough today, I don't feel good. Like, your ass is showing up. And unless it's like a serious injury and you can hardly run or walk, right? And even then, people will like work through it, right? Put on a show because they don't want to miss out on the opportunity. So
you show up. You may not do much, but you still show up.
You still show up. So I remember in my entire football career, I only ever missed one game. And I even still tried to make that game work. I had gotten a helmet to my thigh against Fresno State in college. And the swelling that I had was like, it was so painful. I could hardly even flex my leg behind me. And anytime I would try to move, like, it just felt like 1,000 needles were stabbing it and I was going to like tear my quad, So that's the only time I've ever missed a game. But besides that, like, you injure your shoulder or your knee, or like, you got your back messed up or whatever it is, like, you're still showing up. And I think that's the biggest lesson I got from sports is just discipline. And I think that discipline helps create the consistency that you need, because if you're showing up every single day and just at least showing up and putting in the effort then to back that up, like, you're going to get results. And obviously some people get burnt out because they'll put in a massive amount of effort for a week or 2 weeks or a month or even a year, but they're not disciplined enough to consistently stay with it and have that long-term vision. So I think going for me, like, from the NFL to getting started in the professional working world, having that aha moment, like, I got to take this into my own hands, getting started in real estate, having the setback, I knew like it's either now or never. Like, I got to dig in deeper and work through this. And that's the only way I'm going to be able to come out. And so put my head down, just kept working through deals, and basically got back to even, right, over that next year. And then it was like, all right, let's grow this thing now. And so, we started doing flips. We were now doing 30 flips. Now we were doing 50 flips. Now we were doing 70 flips. Then we were doing 100 flips. Right around that time, right, I had another setback. Okay. It was getting into another new thing where I had someone take advantage of me. Like, the short story is, it was a guy who was in my community. Now I'd moved back to San Diego. I wanted to do some deals with some people. So let me work with some people first that I kind of know and trust. And someone seemed like someone I could like and trust. But I ignored some obvious things like I did the first time. I was kind of just looking at all the glass half full, like, it'll work out. Like, why wouldn't it? I see all the good things in people. And short story is, I bought into a new construction deal. Guy was supposed to build right next to me, do the project together. He had all the financing lined up. The plans were approved and permitted and approved. We could break ground tomorrow, type of thing. And it was all a lie, complete lie. Plans weren't ready. They weren't approved. Architects had tens of thousands of dollars of unpaid bills. The hard money lender had fake receipts given to draw money out. And there was now liability that I had basically on my my balance sheet day one. Like, it was nasty to where I ended up losing after a year of renegotiating and working to try to get these plans approved so I could sell it to somebody. Ended up losing $187,000, which at the time was painful and was not convenient. So now I was faced with another setback. that I had to work through, and did the same thing. Kept cranking through deals, worked my way back out, and then got to the point where we were doing so many flips. We started to have the law of diminishing returns. Like the more flips we did, we were actually making less profit per deal, right? Over budget, over time, and it was getting messy. So we realized we're really good at finding deals. Let's pivot back to my roots of wholesaling. And I'm on this hamster wheel of money in, money out on projects. I need to accumulate wealth. Let's start buying rentals. So 2018 started buying rentals. 2019 pivoted to wholesaling, and first year of buying rentals, bought 18 and just started stacking them from there. And then wholesaling, you know, we scaled that to doing 100+ deals a year on wholesaling, and just been working our asses off since.
Wow. I mean, that's quite a journey, right? Are you guys also tapping into creative financing type of stuff? No,
we do some. It's not that often. Most of it's just your typical cash offer type deal. We've done a couple creative financing deals, both on the rental side and on the wholesaling side or whatever. But besides that, there's probably more opportunity that we could get into from some more creative deals. But yeah.
So basically the model that you run right now is source them. That's what I love about wholesaling. I mean, I wholesale first before anything else. I mean, I own a couple of different businesses, but wholesaling is the thing that I would go back to, you know, as far as square one.
Yeah.
You're in front of the deal. You can cherry pick what you want to keep.
Exactly.
You can figure out, you know, how to structure it, and it's just, you're right there. Like you're right there.
You have the control. You're right there at the source, like you said. You're direct to the seller, and then you have options like, do I want to keep the deal? Do I want to wholesale it out? I have this potential money I can make right now. Like today, just was on the phone while I'm at the gym and sent out a property and talking to a buyer, a $35,000 assignment fee, right?
Yeah.
If we flipped it ourselves, we could make maybe 50 or 60, but it's a big project and it's not something we want to take on. So boom, we're gonna take the 35 right now, and we'll apply that to more marketing and
Move on to the next. Yeah.
all that next things. Yeah.
Yeah, keep it flowing. It's important to keep to have a good understanding of what your wheelhouse is. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I see, they start wholesaling, and before there's enough traction or flow in the business, right, where you have that consistency going and the machine is really completely built out, not necessarily dialed in or polished, but at least built out where you have the systems and processes in place, they start tapping into different things, and what happens, lose focus, and then next thing you know, you're getting your gas off your foot off the pedal on lead generation, which stops acquisitions and dispo and the entire process behind that. So it's
preach.
Right? It's important. It makes sense, man, to okay, dial your stuff in, then create consistency and flow in it, and then tap into other stuff. But I love the fact that wholesaling gives us that opportunity, especially if you know how to structure deals. So if you know how to, you know, put creative financing together and then look at alternate, you know, solutions. You can partner up, you can JV, you can look for funding. There's so many different things that happen when you're first in line. So tell me about your model. And now I want to tap into the way that you've been able to scale the business and really, I mean, take off when it comes to building the portfolio and having that consistency of 100 deals a year in your wholesale business.
Yeah. So scales come from a couple different factors. First, you know, one of the things that helped us scale when we were flipping, and we were primarily doing flipping, was the understanding like, well, how do we get to more deals?
Yeah.
You know, it's marketing, right? And going back to what was the bread and butter since day one, which is marketing. So at that time, 2017, it was doubling and tripling down on direct mail, and then starting to add in some other things like Facebook marketing and PPC and some stuff like that. So that's what helped us scale in that perspective. And then where we're at now, as we kind of gone through the next handful of years, is adding some team members, right? A couple acquisition managers. We just recently hired a lead manager who's working on every single deal, evaluating it and helping support our acquisition managers. And then getting better at marketing, having better data, having better marketing vendors that we're working with for the different, online marketing that we're doing, the direct mail type stuff. So continuing to improve and get more efficient at those different marketing strategies, also increasing some of the budget. And that's just continued to pay off, right? And then one of the biggest things for us, which you're going to love, right, coming from Arizona, is the whole idea of collaboration over competition. So
1,000%.
I had the vision, right? For years, I was the guy who just came from football, and it was me against me, right? You said it earlier on, and I think that's the best way to put it. It was me against me, which for me meant keep my blinders on. I'm not going to worry about other competition or noise or anything. It's just me against me. So I got my blinders on, heads down. I'm going after my deals. I'm focusing on my business. Okay. And for me, I missed out on a huge opportunity to start sooner with what I'm doing now, which is the concept of abundance. Like everything that I'm doing, I want to share it with everybody, right? I want to share with everybody I make contact with, and I want to spread the abundance to everyone else. And so at the beginning of 2020, it was very intentional to start a meetup. Okay. So started a meetup, had the very first one in February, and the second one was canceled in March.
Yeah.
And basically I wonder why. So I had to go online and basically spread that same mindset and intention online. So the strategy went from, instead of being in person and shaking hands with everybody, to now having to do it online. So it started with, hey guys, we're still doing deals. Look what we're doing. This is how we're doing deals. Let me share with you what we had to do to overcome this obstacle or that obstacle, and sharing more of the story. Then it turned into, hey guys, if you need help with anything, you need help working your leads, right? You got a qualified lead and you need help. You're not sure how to negotiate. You need help to go on the appointment. You need help taking that deal you already have under contract, selling it for top dollar to a cash buyer, handling the whole escrow process, anything, we will help you. Just reach out to us. So slowly but surely, some people started reaching out and started making some connections and doing business with other people. And then it turned into, hey guys, look at the success I'm having with these other people. Like we just closed a deal and we just split $40,000. Like, this is awesome. I love sending friends money. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then it developed into friends with benefits. So I branded it friends with benefits. Hey guys,
I love
look
that.
at this. Friends with benefits. You can bring us a qualified lead. We'll work it. We'll get it closed. We'll do basically all the work, and we'll just treat it like we're partners. We'll split it 50-50. This is, you might be in the friend zone now, but if we work together, we'll get out of the friend zone, friends with benefits. And we even made, t-shirts from it. And so now you can like earn a t-shirt if we do business together. And we added $1 million of business last year, 2021, from this Friends with Benefits program. And I feel like we're just barely scratching the surface of the impact we can make by helping other people. And we work with both newer and experienced investors now at this point. We have experienced investors continue to come to us. Hey, check this out. Can you let us know what you're thinking? We'd love to, do a Friends with Benefits deal with you. And, we get the conversation going and see how we can add value to each other. And that whole idea of collaboration over competition is, I don't have competition anymore. I have endless partners, potential partners out there in this business, in my community. And so with the combination of the meetup, the combination of Friends with Benefits, and this last December, before 2021, I reached out to the other meetups in my market. And I said, hey guys, let's get together. Let's plan out this next year on how, we make sure we're not kind of stepping over each other. Hey, I got a meetup this week. I got one the same week too, or the following week. And we're just kind of like not collaborating. Let's plan out the year, and let's co-host events too. So since we've done that, co-hosted events, we've brought in big names. We've brought in big audiences, and now there's so much more collaboration, and the mindset of abundance is just like bursting at the seams. And it's getting so much more fun to like double down on that and just watch the business grow. So it's amazing.
It's like magic happening right before your eyes, man. I used to be at that school, right, where I have something good, I got to keep it to myself so people don't steal it.
Right.
And man, I grew up with that type of mentality, and I went like that through, for years. And then we started just proposing, right, putting it on the table. It's like, what if we collaborate? And this is actually one of my he used to be dispo for Sean Terry, Brandon Simmons. And so him and I, we worked together for years, and he calls me one day. He goes, I want to do a group, a mastermind. I'm going to call it the Go Giver Mastermind. I read the Go Giver book, Go Giver Mastermind. And he's like, I just want to get a bunch of real estate people in the room and then start, talking to each, see how we can help each other out. And that's where the relationship between, for example, Paige, Jamil, Brent, me, Steve Trang, like we started collaborating in that one room. Next, fast forward a few years, and like everybody's blowing up on different things. It's just, it's incredible the amount of power that you can get when you squat up, right? When you level up. So it's a beautiful thing, man, that you're breaking that stigma of competition in that space, because it's absolutely worth it. I mean, monetarily, relationships wise, you can't beat it. You can't.
Absolutely.
Think about the number of opportunities that come at us, right?
Exactly. It feels counterintuitive. It feels counterintuitive to like give up your secrets and share with other people what you're doing. And you could even say like, give up part of the pie to work with somebody else. But I'm telling you, like,
big fucking pie.
When everybody brings their pie, there's way more pie. Everybody's full, everybody's eating. And it's also, like I said, over and over, it's so much more fun. So there's more opportunity. There's more potential when you squat up and work with other people, and it just starts blessing you over and over and over again.
Yeah, no, 1,000%, man. I absolutely agree with that. Tell me give me probably your best and your worst, just a quick little rundown on your best deal and your worst deal out there.
Yeah, so the worst deal was that one where I got suckered, I'll just say, for lost $187,000. So that was just, not only was it like painful for the money lost, I was cheated. It wasn't granted, the fault always comes back to the decision maker. I decided to do the deal. So I have to own up to the fact that I decided to sign the dotted line and do the deal and wire the money and get involved in it. You have to own up to it. If you can't own up to it, then there's other problems you got to overcome. But
that's problem number one.
Yeah. Now, granted, the person had bad intent from day one, right? So it's unfortunate that our roads crossed, and that's what happened on the deal. But it was just knowing that I got taken advantage of and feeling sick to my stomach and going to sleep with just my heart just pounding because I just felt so like violated, right? And cheated. So that was really tough. Some sleepless nights there that just didn't feel good, right? But it was just another one of those moments, the second time that I went through, that I just knew, okay, it's fight or flight. I either come out swinging and pull myself up and get the work, or, I put my tail between my legs and cry about it. So that was the worst. The best deal, I'm Mr. Consistent. So I can't say like I had $1 million net profit deal. I'm looking forward to the day that I say that. But I consistently, just like our average profit is a $20,000 profit across our business, right? And we're doing, 100+ deals. So we're doing good. The best deal on paper that we just closed month and a half ago was a $147,000 net profit deal. So it was a beautiful thing. It was a referral that came from one of our leads that we closed in a small little, not big town. And he knew his buddy wanted to sell. So he told his buddy, hey, call these guys. Called us up, got on the phone. Hey, my property's got this thing and that thing going on. Come over, take a look. Okay, well, what do you want, Mr. Seller? I want $100,000. Okay. I think we can do that. And you bet your ass we could do it because, it was a smoking deal. We got it sold for, whatever it was in the high 200s. Right. And did next to nothing work to it. And at the end of the day, walked away net $147,000. So just
Wow.
awesome
Was
deal.
Was it a straight wholesale or did you wholesale that deal?
We wholetailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We wholetailed it. We did not want to spend 1 second worrying about writing over that
Somebody
assignment
snatching that
contract
deal, yeah.
or someone is swooping in because we blasted it out. Like, nope, if there's a juicy deal, we're taking it down. We're not putting it out to the world. So, that was our best deal to date so far. And, we got another deal that's another 2 deals that are competing for it. It's still in the low six figures, below this one, but they're close. So, I'm trying to get more of those rolling in. So they're fun.
Well, you said it, brother. Consistency, right? Like that's really the thing that gets the pie at the end of the day, because sometimes it can be hard, not because we want to lose or we just don't pay attention to it, but because logistically, if you're a solo operation, like one thing that I see with students all the time, like it happens, it's they'll get a deal and then they'll start babying that contract, right? And then babying the seller, babying the escrow process, and the different stages of the deal, and then they forget about lead generation. That consistency there is what brings the win. If you lose the tenacity of staying on top of that portion of the business, nothing else works, right? So keeping up with that consistency is huge, man. I made some mistakes there at the beginning, where I would do the same thing. Okay, cool. I got this thing. It's gonna be a $30,000 deal, and I would close on the thing, make a bunch of cash, but then I had to start all over again, and I get paid for another 45, 60 days. Like
exactly.
Yeah. So I love it, man. What advice would you give somebody who's getting started in our industry?
Yeah. So right now there's a lot of noise out there. Like when I first got started and did the Google search, there was podcasts, like YouTube, there was some stuff, but not much at all. There was like 3 or 4 people talking about wholesaling. And so now there's so much noise out there.
Toback, Sean Terry.
Yep.
And,
do you know Preston? I'm forgetting his last name. God, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he was pushing wholesaling as well at the time.
Yeah.
Last name was a W. Drawing a blank.
Yeah, but it was a handful of guys back then.
Handful of guys. And right now there's so much noise. There's so much information on YouTube. You could get absolutely lost going down a rabbit hole of just wholesaling, and then the different strategies of creative financing. And then, there's, buying rentals, and then there's doing fix and flips. And then, by the way, there's multifamily over here. I should probably check that out. Yeah. And you could just get absolutely lost. So I think the most practical thing, whether it's single family houses or multifamily, is just focus on how to find deals. Yeah. That's it. And my firm belief is learn how to market, be in control, market directly to homeowners, or if like you're in storage, directly how to market to these owners of these properties. And because that's going to give you the most control to create your own opportunities and create that consistency and predictability about doing your next deal. And so ultimately, the skill sets around how to find it, which are all based around marketing, is the first and foremost skill. And then be working on the skills to develop. How do I take advantage of that deal? The sales part, right? How do I communicate? How do I understand what a deal looks like? How do I negotiate and structure this deal? Is the next thing to follow. But first and foremost, focus on studying one asset class and how to find to be marketing directly to the lead source, which is the homeowners.
Yep. I love it, man. I love it. Before we start signing off, I have this question, man, that it's got to be my favorite question to ask. And that's, if you were walking down the street and you ran into your 17-year-old self, what would you tell that kid?
Yeah. Well, at my time, being in high school, I would tell them to go find the best real estate investor in the market. Go to the meetups, go network. Like, just be obsessed.
If Dean right now ran into Dean's
Yep.
17-year-old.
Yep. I would tell my young self, I'd say, go to these meetups, go meet the best investors, and find a way to be around them and understand what they're doing and build a relationship with them, and show up with the hustle and the excitement and the passion, so that they recognize that, like, there's something here. It's worth my time to even talk to this person.
Yeah.
so that you can accelerate your learning path to get into real estate and buy real estate sooner, and to focus on buying and holding sooner, even if that's through partnerships. You just found the deal, you had no money in it, whatever you had to do, buy sooner, hold sooner, and get involved in your network of relationships sooner, because that's going to accelerate you the fastest.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with that, man. Awesome, brother. It's been an amazing talk. I love the journey. Big respect for everything that you've been able to accomplish throughout the years. I mean, starting with the NFL, which is no easy feat, to having the thriving business that you have right now. And then I think more importantly, the good balanced head on your shoulders to keep it all together, right? And understand that this is a process, and trying to put good out there for people as well. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, reach out, tapping the shoulder, how do they do it?
Yeah. So the easiest way is just to go to deanrogers.com. Okay. So deanrogers.com, you're going to see a tab at the top that says connect. You're going to see all my social media stuff, like Instagram, Dean Rogers, at Dean Rogers Real Estate, or youtube.com/Dean Rogers. So you can see that all there. I do also have a coaching program that I just launched a couple months ago called the Wholesaling Playbook. And we literally show you everything that we're doing in our 7-figure wholesaling business. So if you're interested in like learning how to actually do this business at a high level, and want to apply it in your business, whether you're just getting started or you're an experienced investor who's looking to create that consistency of the marketing and the systems and processes, and have the accountability to kick you in the ass and get you moving along too, you guys can go to the shop section at deanrogers.com, and you'll see a video about the Wholesaling Playbook and can apply there. So just reach out to me. I love connecting with people. The more I connect with people, the more doors open, the more that there's opportunity for all of us. There's enough deals for everybody. So you just got to be connecting with people constantly.
100%, man. I love it. deanrogers.com. I'll be sure to put the link on the show notes. And once again, man, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and spending some time with us, man. It's been a blast.
Thanks for having me, man.
Boom, family. It's a wrap.